Today I'm reading chapter 30 and this is about the fourth launch of Elon Musk Falcon 1. Now this talks about the successful launch. Of course, the fourth launch was successful, but he was on the brink of bankruptcy. He almost went under bankruptcy, and some of his peers from the previous company, PayPal, they have rescued him. So Peter Thiel was one of them, and he invested around $20 million into the founders' um trust, which they have built, or basically that was for the startups. So that part of money Elon Musk has got, and that revived for the fourth launch. Now the interesting part of fourth launch was basically he has aimed like this launch will be done within the 6 week of the failure of third launch. That means there are very strict timelines to follow, and also they didn't had time to collect the spare parts from California and ship it to Quaz Island, which is near Honolulu, even farther than that, Hawaii, Honolulu. Now the idea of that is basically very interesting, and they thought, okay, they will rent out one C-14 airplane from Air Force, and they will directly pick those parts from California and they will assemble it in Quaz, and which is what they have done. One interesting part was when the air pressure suddenly dropped while they were going up. So the scrambled, or the engine of that part, which has the fuel and everything in itself, the metal got cracking because the pressure got suddenly dropped and squeezed. So then immediately one of the engineer, he rushed, and most of the teams, they requested Air Force, like, can you please go down in the altitude so that I can fix the pressure part, and then we can reassess the situation and we can release some pressure from the air part. I'll read about that for you. There was a mad scramble as the engineers pulled out their rocket knives and began cutting away shrink wrapping and trying to open the walls. Bulent Alton, one of the engineers, ran to the cockpit to try the stop descent. Here, this big Turkish guy screaming at the Air Force pilot, who were the whitest Americans you have ever seen, to go back to higher. Harris says, astonishingly, uh, they did not dump the rocket or Alton into ocean. Instead, they agreed to ascend, but warned Alton that they had only 30 minutes to fuel. So they had only 30 minutes of fuel. So basically, within 10 minutes, he has to fix everything. So that was the uh, story behind that. Fourth time charm basically talks about the 4 times success. So I'll read about that as well. So unless his fourth launch attempt succeeded, it would be end of SpaceX and probably the wacky notion that space pioneer could lead to a private entrepreneurship. It might be also end of Tesla. We would have been able to get any new funding for Tesla, Musk says. People would like to look at that guy who has the rocket company and he blew everything away. So that was his thinking, and and people might call him a loser, and that was one of the thinking that was going behind his mind, and the calculation was there, and that's why he has put all in his effort, and they tried for this. Now, fourth time a charm, basically one of the incidences which the successful, after the launch of fourth rocket, Falcon, this thing. Uh, so one of the things that he said is basically that enables us to get onto the Mars, and then we will make it as a multiplanetary species. And then suddenly NASA also cleared his all the pending assignments which were assigned. So basically the rule for the NASA assignment was, unless you deliver a package to the space station, you will not get paid. So that was the first step to get paid through NASA, and that's how it succeeds, and that's how he has texted to the one of the NASA pioneers, basically the representative, like, I love NASA. And that was the story. And then probably I'll begin reading the next chapter, which talks about the launch of first vehicle from first of all the saving Tesla and then launch of the first vehicle.